Look, I need everyone to stop what they're doing right now because the coaching carousel just hit absolute insanity and the shockwaves are vibrating all the way to Cleveland. The Miami Dolphins have officially fired Mike McDaniel, and I am telling you, this changes the entire landscape of the search for the next leader of our Browns. This isn't just another name on a list, this is a tactical nuclear strike on the coaching market that no one saw coming today. Before we dive into why McDaniel might be the savior this offense desperately needs, do me a massive favor. If you live and breathe Browns football, hit that like button, share this with the dog pound, and subscribe right now so we can keep building the strongest fan community in the league. Now, let's be real for a second. Did anyone actually expect Stephen Ross to pull the trigger on McDaniel after he met with him this week? Adam Schefter just broke the news that after some reflection, Miami is moving on, and suddenly, the most creative offensive mind in the game is a free agent. Does this feel like destiny, or are we just setting ourselves up for more heartbreak? Think about that, because the connection here is deeper than you might realize. Last week, Jeremy Fowler was already whispering that if Miami moved on, Cleveland would be at the front of the line. And why wouldn't they be? We are talking about a guy who was our wide receiver coach back in 2014. Remember that genius trick play with Johnny Manziel on the sideline? That was McDaniel. He has the history, he has the respect of the building, and Mary Kay Cabot is already reporting that the front office holds his offensive mind in the highest possible regard. Let's look at the resume, because it's a wild ride. He's 35-33 in the regular season, so he knows how to win, but yeah, he's 0-2 in the playoffs. People were screaming about his play calling this year, but let's be honest, the man draws up concepts that make other defensive coordinators wake up in a cold sweat. He's the definition of offensive-minded, which is exactly what we've been begging for while we try to figure out this nightmare of a quarterback situation. He took Miami to the playoffs in his first 2 years. Even in a down year where he got the boot, he still finished with more wins than Cleveland. He's a direct branch of the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. He was with him in Atlanta for that Super Bowl run and then followed him to San Francisco before taking the Miami job. We are talking about elite-level coaching DNA. Question of the day, if it comes down to it, would you rather have the experience of Mike McDaniel leading this team, or are you holding out for a home run hire like Jim Harbaugh? Type M for McDaniel or H for Harbaugh in the comments right now. I see the concerns, though. I'm not wearing rose-colored glasses here. His record against teams over .500 is a brutal 4-17. That is terrifying. When things are easy, he's great, but when the pressure is on, he's struggled to adjust. He's 4-24 when trailing at the half. Does that sound familiar? We've spent years watching this team struggle to finish games, so do we really want a coach who has a track record of disappearing in the second half? And don't even get me started on the replay challenges, 4 for 21? That's almost impressively bad. There is a very real argument that Mike McDaniel is the world's greatest offensive coordinator but might be a shaky head coach. But here is the reality of the 2026 coaching pool, it is thin. Outside of the big whales, you're looking at guys like Cliff Kingsbury or taking a gamble on an assistant. McDaniel has actually sat in the big chair and won games. The ideal world? We hire him as an offensive coordinator. But let's be serious, he's going to have teams like Washington or Detroit throwing head coach money at him just to run their offense. If Cleveland wants him, they likely have to give him the keys to the whole kingdom. But man, imagine the vibes. The guy is a walking quote machine. He's hilarious, he's authentic, and the players absolutely love him. He's the ultimate player's coach. After the season we just endured, wouldn't a little bit of that energy be a breath of fresh air? He's the guy sprinting to the locker room and telling players, "I'm in your head" on the sidelines. It's unconventional, maybe even a little unserious to some, but it works for the modern athlete. While we wait for the McDaniel news to settle, we have to acknowledge that the search is already moving. The team confirmed they interviewed Tommy Rees and Jim Schwartz today. We're looking internally, but with McDaniel now available, you have to wonder if those interviews just became a backup plan. There are now 8 open jobs in the NFL. 1/4 of the league is looking for a leader. Is Cleveland actually an attractive destination compared to a place like Baltimore? I think it is. We have 2 first-round picks, including a top 6 selection. Andrew Berry has basically told candidates they can do whatever they want at quarterback. If a coach comes in and loves Shedeur Sanders, he can go get his guy. Plus, you're inheriting a top 5 defense and the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. We have young studs like Fannin, Judkins, and Isaiah Bond. We aren't starting a rebuild, we are trying to survive the end of one. The foundation is there, but the obstacles are massive. The quarterback situation is a mess. Deshaun Watson is still on a massive contract, and behind him, you've got rookies like Shedeur and Gabriel. The offensive line isn't just beaten up, all 5 spots are basically question marks heading into free agency. And you're doing all of this in the AFC North, the toughest, coldest, most brutal division in football. You have to go through Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Mike Tomlin just to get a seat at the table. That's why we need someone who isn't scared. We don't need another maybe coach. We need a winner. Whether it's the offensive genius of McDaniel or the proven iron fist of a veteran, the culture in Cleveland has to change starting today. We have the best fans in the world. You guys stayed through a 5-win season and you're still here, fully invested in who the next coach is. You deserve a team that rewards that loyalty. Is Mike McDaniel the man to finally break the cycle? He's smart, he's creative, and he's available. The clock is ticking. And the rest of the league is already making their moves. We cannot afford to miss out on a transformative mind just because we were too afraid to take a swing. Stay locked in, because as soon as more news breaks on these interviews, or if a meeting with McDaniel is scheduled, I'll be right here to break it down for you. The off-season is just getting started, and the stakes have never been higher.